Welcome to the shop, everyone. Today we're going to be working on this Predator/Clone 212 engine and doing a carb clean on it. Now this old go-kart, I drug it out of an old scrap yard and fixed it up, found an old motor, bought some new parts for it, got the engine where it run pretty good, and then started working on that frame. Got it to, I don't know, like new condition. Now I've had it for around 4 years. We've had a lot of fun with it, and here's how it looks today. I put some slicks on it, some sort of nostalgic stickers to make it look cool. But we're having an issue with the idle of this Greyhound/212 engine. The motor will run as long as you're going down the road with it pretty well. But if you go to let it idle, it'll cut off as soon as you turn the choke off. So I think we're gonna have a problem with the carburetor in the idle circuit. So watch, as soon as I turn the choke off, it'll die. Yep, see that? Alright, so I think that's going to be in the idle circuit of the carburetor. So let's get that thing pulled off there. See if we can't find the problem. Now that's like the governor right there. I just find it easier to pull that off, get the linkage off the carburetor. We'll get the air cleaner off of there. And there's really not a whole lot to these little carburetors. And they're also fairly cheap. You know, if you needed to buy a new one. Say we can't repair this one, I'll have to order one. So I'm gonna get me a pair of long nose vice grips and crimp that fuel line off. Keep the gas from pouring out. There we go. Alright, well, let's get that thing over on the table, get it tore apart, see what we can find there. So, break that and get the fuel bowl off. Alright, gotta take the floating needle out. And that's the idle mixture screw there. That's like the jet in a way for the idle of it. You know, how much fuel's going in while it's idling. And that's where I think we have a starvation problem. Now the main jet I think is going to be okay because, you know, as far as like open throttle, it seems to run great there. So see that? You can see right through it. So I was pretty sure that wasn't it. But there's also a emulsion tube. I can't say it right. In there that sometimes gets plugged up. It kind of like aerates the fuel before it goes through the carburetor. And so I'm going to push that out and see how it looks. And like I say, there's some buildup on it and a few things like that, so we'll make sure to get that good and clean before we put it on there. But see that part right there? See, that's the idle mixture screw. And I took like my welding brush I use for welding, and I pulled a small brush off of it so I can push through that hole, and that part was plugged up, and so I'm pretty sure that was going to be the issue with the idle. So I don't know what you call that thing. I've never seen it on the side of a carburetor before, but I pulled it off and it has like O-rings on it, and cleaned it out with that part of that wire brush. So I got a feeling we found the problem, but I'm still going to take it apart. And also, my son has always talked about putting parts in a crock pot to clean them. And I haven't really tried it, and I don't have a crock pot to do that in, so I'm going to put stuff in that tin and let it boil over a little fire here to see how it cleans. We're just going to leave it on there for a while, let it sort of simmer away. So now I've rinsed it out in some fresh water, and I'm just going to blow everything off. Now, of course, I'm trying to get this into the picture where you can see it, and I missed that one. So let's see how I do on the next one. Ah, that's a little better. That's in the picture now. All right, so I'm getting everything blowed off, cleaned up. All right. So another thing I do is some of these gaskets and stuff kind of get a little bit dried up, and so I'll get some silicone grease And a lot of times I'll put a little bit of silicone grease on the O-rings and stuff like that, just to keep the moisture in them. So I put the emulsion jet in there, or emulsion tube, I guess, and that's the main jet itself is what holds it in place. Got that tight. All right, got the adjustment screw in there. Go ahead and get the float put back on. Put the pin through there. There we go. Got it. All right. Get the fuel bowl put back on. And I'm trying to, to orientate which way, like if you wanted to drain the carburetor, kind of what direction I wanted it. Because that one hole, that's all it's for, is that you can drain the carburetor. And that's probably what I need to do over the winter. If I drained the carburetor while it sat, it probably wouldn't get clogged up like it does. All right, so let's get it back on there and see if we fixed the problem. All right, one more thing I need to get. It won't run well without that. Get it on there correctly. Go ahead and get the linkage back on there. Get the choke working right. And I forget where I bought that kit. When I got the engine, I bought some kit, and I can't remember who it was, but it came with like a K&N air filter, that like little velocity stack, came with bigger jets, and a keyway that would advance the timing slightly. And so I put on, and then a header pipe. And so I put that stuff on there, and this motor really it performs pretty well. Now, let's see if it'll start up. Kind of acting like it wants to. Let's do a couple adjustments here, see if we can't get the thing running. Back that out a little bit. Turn the idle screw up a hair. Let's see what we get. Ah, there it goes. So, already it's idling without the choke on. So we know we found the problem and we fixed it. So I'm just playing with the idle mixture screw a little bit. It's probably best to wait until it's fully warmed up for the final adjustment, but just kind of see if I can make any improvements on it in the cold state that the engine's in right now. Well, let's get the air cleaner on there. Alright, so it seems to be idling pretty good. Starting to come up the temperature a little bit. And like I say, we'll probably go out and take a test ride on it, and then if everything seems to work good, probably going to go on and change the oil and like do a PM on the go-kart for this summer coming up. Take care of a few things so we can have another fun summer with it. So let's get on it. Let's see what it'll do. I see some cars down there. Let's race the cars down by the road. Can't keep up. They're going a little faster than I am. I think we clocked this thing. I think it goes about 28 miles an hour with the governor that's on it. And on the yard, it feels plenty fast. So anyways, I kind of redid this thing for my granddaughters. And usually, for years we sat them in front of us and drove around the yard with them. And they've actually got where they can drive it pretty good. So I don't doubt this summer that we won't turn them loose on it. So I might work on the governor a little bit more and make it a little bit slower. All right, let's turn it off. So, well, that problem's took care of. So let's go ahead and do, I guess, what you call a PM on it. Get it ready for this summer. So the first thing I do is change the oil. Now why I jack the front of it up is the motor's like at a tilt. And if I don't jack it up, the oil won't pour out. So that's why I jacked the front of the go-kart up. And I believe that's a 10 millimeter. Break that loose. Let all that oil drain out of there. Now, one thing I kind of want to do is, these motors don't have any kind of a filtration system for the oil. And so I got a magnet, one of those real strong magnets, and I want to make me a magnetic plug for the oil plug. That way any metal or ferrous material that wears in the engine, that magnet will probably attract it to it. So let's see if we can't make a magnetic oil plug for this old Predator 212 or Greyhound 212. I'm not sure which one it is. So the drill I'm going to use is going to be slightly smaller than the size of the magnet. So we have somewhat of a press fit. All right, that's looking good. Hopefully it won't fit in there. And nope, it won't. So I'll have to press it in there. Now the magnet's holding it there right now. So I'm gonna stick it in my mill vise and press it the rest of the way in there. All right. Now we got a magnetic oil plug for the old Predator / Greyhound 212. And I'm just going to run 30 weight oil, straight 30 weight oil in it. All right. So the oil's changed now. Now one other thing I did is the end of the shaft was like threaded. So I made a special nut that I could put a grease fitting on, and then I drilled a hole in the crankshaft where when I greased it, it would oil the clutch bearing too. And that's the same original clutch that's on this thing from when I first did it 4 years ago. Now the sprocket, it just seems like no matter what I do, it loosens up. And, I have Loctite on it and things like that. But with these little 1 cylinders, they pound so hard. By the bang, bang, bang. It's like a hammer. So I always go back, turn everything loose, put a little Loctite on the locking nuts, and then retighten it. And rarely through the summer do we have to work on this thing. So these little things I'm doing seem to make it fairly reliable, but it's something that you do have to go every so often and just check over loose nuts and bolts on these things, because they do vibrate pretty violently. And I don't know if any of you guys know of any kind of fuel additive to put in there, to where, what sits over the winter that maybe the carburetor wouldn't clog up. And if you do, leave me something in the comments about that. Now this chain wax I use on my motorcycles, and I tell you what, I am sold with that stuff because it just doesn't splash around. It doesn't spray like oil does. And I'm just very impressed with it. I got, like my motorcycle probably has 13,000 miles on the chain, and I just clean it every so often and spray it with that chain wax. So seems to work really well. And I also, when I redid the go-kart, I made grease fittings for the front steering rods because I could see how they kind of wore. So got that done. All right, wipe all the grease off a little bit. So there she is, all cleaned up, PM'd, oil changed, greased, ready for a hard summer. And I don't know, I just like the way it looks. It kind of, I don't know, I like the stickers and everything on it. It kind of gives me a, I don't know, into 60s IndyCar look with the slick tires, the bigger slicks on the back, the engine on the back, STP stickers, the color, everything about it just screams old school racing to me. So, if you guys enjoyed the video, please hit that like, subscribe if you'd like to, ring the bell, do all those things, because we hope to keep doing these videos. And again, as always, we appreciate you guys so much for watching. Thanks so much.